Hey guys, welcome to Jack's Treasures and What Not Another Reselling Podcast. This is our show where we focus on the live portion of reselling. I don't edit because I'm lazy, and we go out raw. We don't sugarcoat anything or try to blow smoke up anybody's behind. We try to give you the truth about reselling. But before I introduce our guests and we talk about our topic, we do have a celebration, guys. Tracy and I last night reached a milestone on YouTube. Tracy, what did we do?
We hit 1,000 followers last night.
We hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for that. Right. Thank you for everybody that
Shout
has
out
watched.
to Lily at Captain Collect. She was our 1,000th subscriber.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for bringing us up to that level right there. When we started this podcast, we were only at about 500. So something is obviously working and something is clicking. Okay. So thank you again, guys. We really, really do super appreciate it.
Our topic tonight is how live selling has changed sourcing for static sellers and how you can utilize these live selling platforms as a sourcing method.
Our guest today is one of my very best friends, guys. I have met this man on more than one occasion. I literally drove to North Carolina just to meet him. Just to meet him. His name is...
And go to McKay's.
And to go to McKay's. And his name is Jeff, also known as ApexJeff. He's well known, and I hate to say this part because he's going to disagree with me, but he is a respected reseller, mostly does static listings on eBay and other sites. He has done a few live shows, but mostly on the static listings. He's known on Whatnot, though, as a buyer who sources on live selling shows, especially mine. Okay. And then he decides to send me all the pictures and tell me how much.
I love that, by the way.
We have had the privilege of meeting Jeff, as I said, multiple times. We have broken bread with Jeff and his lovely wife, and he is amazing. He is a friend to everybody in the reselling community, and he's a sought-after commodity right now. If I'm not mistaken, this would be your third podcast in a month?
Something like that. I don't know about in a month, but I was on Ray's podcast, and I don't give a flip a couple of times.
And weren't you on the reseller locker room too?
Yeah, the reseller locker room. That was an insane buffoonery hangout. That was awesome. That's a PG-13 at least show, so be careful with that one.
Yeah, but you guys go check that one out right there. The reseller locker room, guys. Ben, Alex, and Jefferson. They are amazing individuals. So, Jeff,
Brian, I've got my shirt. Remember, we were in Greenville, Tennessee. We're at the East Tennessee Resellers Meetup.
Northeast Tennessee.
Something like that. East and I found, but right before I went to the thrift store and I found two of these shirts, these Home Shopping Network shirts, and I wore this. I thought, well, that would be an appropriate shirt. And apparently, there was a Home Shopping Network hub in Nashville, which was close to where we were. And I gave you one. You remember that?
He wore it yesterday.
I wore it yesterday.
2 days ago. He was wearing it very recently.
Speaking of shirts, I want to show you guys our brief introduction of Jeff before Jeff introduces himself. This is the first introduction that we had of Jeff. Scumbag Reseller. This is a shirt that Jeff wore the very first time I think that I'd seen Jeff.
Yep.
Okay, didn't have any idea who he was.
Didn't know him.
This is the shirt that I see. Now, you might be wondering, how did I get that shirt? Well, Jeff was super kind, knowing that I wanted to buy one off of his back, and he let me buy it off of him. I didn't get it off of his back. He had to
Close
get
enough.
another one.
Close enough.
Yeah. But Jeff, go ahead and do a brief introduction of yourself.
Oh, I gave you scalper prices on it too. So you wanted that for $2. You said, "Oh, Jeff's in his first show. He'll have mercy on me." And no, not at all. So ApexJeff is Jeff Fisher in real life. I live in the Raleigh area in North Carolina, and there's a town called Apex. And I thought, wow, ApexJeff sounds really good. Just had a nice flow to it. So I've been reselling only since 2023. I started reselling Well, that might be one of your questions, but
oh, that is one of the questions. But you go ahead.
no, it's okay. Yeah, only a few years. So I've learned a lot through conferences and a lot of YouTube videos, and then of course by experience. Last year I pulled a tooth in them, so I'm heavily involved with that. But I have a full-time job as an accountant, finance person. So I do that, my reselling in the evenings and on the weekends and in the gaps. And so it's a hobby hustle, but I treat it like a part-time job for sure.
Right.
How do you manage to be in so many different shows and at so many meetups?
Yeah. It seems like seriously, you cannot turn around without running into Jeff.
Oh, well, we run with some of the same circle of friends, so it's a little bit easier to bump into each other. I'll be in a lot of the plush shows and the plush raid trains. I do sell plush. I have about 12 bins of plush. But I'm in the shows where my friends are, but then my friends have really good deals, and I've learned a lot from my friends on what is good and what sells. And so, I'll just buy from them. It's a community for me. And you guys know that it's not just, I'm not just showing up for sourcing and showing up to support my friends. I'm showing up because I feel connected. And the meetups, getting in the chats at Whatnot, those things have helped me to feel connected. It's not just buying stuff. You buy stuff, hey, I appreciate you, or thanks a lot while I just robotically go get the next item. You're just a number.
Right.
But it's personal to me. And since I've met a lot of these people, and since I've been on camera a little bit more, people feel like people either know me or feel like they know me. So the closest thing I can compare it to, Brian and Tracy, is a church. A good church. You go to a good church, and it's your supportive community that shares your same values and shares your same loves. And that's what parts of this reselling community can be.
Absolutely, zero doubt. I will let you guys know, Jeff at a meetup is almost an ambassador. Okay. I don't think there's been a meetup that he has not talked to every single person at the meetup. And I don't mean just, hey, my name is Jeff, and he goes on to the next person. He will hold a conversation with them, okay, and get to know them.
He came over and he hung out at the introvert table at the Northeast Tennessee meetup. So that was nice. I appreciate that.
yes,
right.
He did. That was a very good, a lot of fun. So if you want to check out a lot of the stuff about that one, check out the Reseller Locker Room podcast, because they were the host of that amazing one. This is going to be our real talk section where we ask the tough questions of our guests, and hopefully people will gain a little bit of knowledge or be entertained or both.
Our first question is the same question to every guest, and you almost answered it a second ago. But how did you get started reselling?
Yeah, 2023, we watched a bunch of videos on minimalism. There was a bunch of stuff on YouTube, and my wife and I are like, we're going to sell our house pretty soon. The kids are going to be out and in college, and let's look at that, and let's start to downsize our house. And a major thing that I had up in the attic was, and in my personal room, was my Star Wars. I had a Star Wars memorabilia collection, not so much toys, but I had and I had memorabilia from conventions. And I'm like, that's worth money, and I'm okay with the memories. And so it was a great exercise for me to be able to start letting go of things. And I said, if this is going to pay for something, it needs to be meaningful. So let's do a Disney trip off of this. That was just kind of the idea that
Jeff,
eventually.
Let me break it for just 1 minute. Are you a huge Star Wars fan?
I think a lot of people are huge Star Wars fans. I'm an original trilogy fan. I like the
Uh-huh.
newer stuff as well, but
Uh-huh.
a lot of the autographs and memorabilia I was collecting is from, the original actors, and getting to meet them in person. Yeah, that resonated. Mark Hamill, he would be my childhood hero. And so to get to meet him, to get a picture with him, to get an autograph it was everything that I imagined it, and way more. So but we thought a trip to Disney World would be worthy of that. So I started to sell my Star Wars autographs. They have specific places on Facebook, specific groups for specific genres of stuff. So there's a Star Wars autograph universe community. And I have bought stuff. I knew what it looked like if it was shipped good. So, it's funny how you're buying stuff. When you're a buyer and you see good shipping, you go, wow, I sure appreciate that. And so that helped me know how that I need to ship these things to people. But within about a month and a half, I had gotten over $3,000 in autograph sales. And I don't know that I sold that many. It was just, wow, this works. I shipped them. People were happy, and I had money in the bank. And that was the first time a hobby, it paid me. So how exciting. Yeah. And then just naturally, I just start to think, well, what else can I sell? And what else can I sell around the house? But then I start watching all these videos, and these videos say, hey, here's good things to go out and buy. So instead of being minimalistic, now we have a space issue.
I think that happens all the
resellers
time.
Have that.
Yeah. So I have to ask this: who did you watch when you were doing
Who was your first video that you remember?
Oh, I started reselling only a month ago when I watched one of your videos.
Oh, okay. Totally don't believe none of that part right there. In 2023, what did he say?
2023.
2023, yeah.
Yeah, you caught me on that. Yeah, that's a Halloween lie. Sorry. No, I think that Harry Tornado, everybody says Harry Tornado, but he was just so prominent and so nice. And Commonwealth Picker probably. I met Cha-Ching King at Scott at a meetup, but I didn't know who he was. I sat next to him. This is the FlipCon 2023 meetup that I went to. I wasn't even ApexJeff at the time. I was just like, man, I need to go to something where I can learn some of these skills. And I sat next to Scott, and he said, hi, I don't think I've met you. I'm Scott. And I said, oh, well, I'm Jeff. And he said, are you on YouTube? No. I said, are you newer to reselling, Scott? He's like, no, I've been doing it a long time. And then Rachel Strickland came over, gushed over Scott, and saw her, and I'm like, she was on the bill to talk, so I knew that she was something important, but I didn't know who she was. And I just said, hey, nice to meet you. Little did I know there was all these great YouTube, people at that type of meetup. And of course, meeting Harry Tornado and Chris Flip the World, and then the ADH Dave and Corey, and I mean, just all these people, Kevin.
That's awesome.
All Coco was there. Coco's one of the first people I didn't see her. I heard her. And Coco Loves Life is who I'm talking about. And she's a wonderful person. And I went in, and you just hear her gushing and fangirling and going, oh, I can't believe I'm seeing so, and just hugging people. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? Who are these people? And, it was a real education to me, a real baptism into big time reselling in YouTube world. So that was a fun time. I was nervous. Wow. I was all by myself. I didn't have my wife. And, I'm close to Charlotte, 2.5 hours. So I drove down there, and it's expensive to go to a convention sometimes. And man,
Depending on where they're at, for sure. The bigger cities.
I was just barely reselling, and to think about, well, if I go to this convention for 3 nights, it's going to cost me whatever, $1,000. I had to buy the ticket, and I just felt like it was an investment in me. And boy, that was an overstatement. I mean, I underestimated that. So anybody that's a little scratching their head about going to a meetup, gosh, I got to drive, take the time, take off of work, pay for the hotel. It's an investment in you, like at your job or any business, you would go to training and seminars, and you have to pay for it because it's coming out of your business funds, but totally worth it just for being around people who know that world and are at all kind of levels, not just the giants.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are your feelings on live selling based on first getting started as a reseller?
Yeah.
I'm not shy of the camera. I've done podcasting a lot. In my early career, I was in the ministry. So I grew up in Texas, in Austin, Texas. I went to a state college. I got a finance degree, but then in the middle of college, I sensed a calling to full-time ministry. And so I went to seminary, and then met my wife, Marcia, there. And then we had 15 years of pastoral ministry, church planting ministry. So speaking, communicating, personal skills, all of those things are important in a ministry type of job. Not everybody has all of those, or not everybody's, natural at those, but I've grown to be able to be very comfortable speaking to people and in front of a camera. So what do I think about live selling? I think live selling is fantastic. I can do it. It's just, what do I want to spend the time on? Do I want to sit and list and photograph and have my butt in the seat pushing out listings and cross listing, or do I want to take a chunk of time and do more of the live selling route, or do I want to do both? So that's what I kind of had to think about. And I did 7 live shows on Whatnot, and they were fine. Some of them were real quiet, and I ended them early. Some of them went great. I had a Transformer show.
Yeah,
I got a big lot of Transformers. One of the endless yard sales, and boy, that I made money on that show, but I made more money posting those and waiting, and then eventually taking that bin to my local toy shop and coming back with several $100s. So, if I have a full-time job and then I'm trying to be a successful reseller, what is the best efficient use of my time? And you have to decide that as a reseller for yourself. And you may like live reselling a lot and like that connection and like those quick sales. I just found, for me, I was already good at eBay and then cross listing, and that's what I wanted to keep majoring on and not be distracted from.
Yeah, I think everybody, when they start doing all of that stuff, they need to think about the fact that, one, with live selling, you're not going to get that money that you make on eBay. There's absolutely zero doubt on that until you become really, really big. Paul the Philly Flipper, comes to mind with something like that. But it's that quick flip, as Jeff said, gets that space, clears up that space. if you have the space, or you can hold on, especially smaller stuff, it's definitely great. So there's plus and minuses to both. And you just have to, as Jeff said, look for what appeals to you.
I think one of my midterm goals, Brian and Tracy, is definitely to get to 1,000 sales on Whatnot. I love the idea of, boy, I've got a bill, or I need a little bit of money, and I need to do a quick show, and then I can make $200 or $300 that goes into the bank instantly. That's appealing to me. And so I've got a lot of vintage cassettes. I'll be doing some cassette shows. It's just kind of when I get time, and
I'll be there.
Priorities. It's just priorities, but it's on my 3 to 6 month goal range to hit that metric, I think.
It can be a game changer. We have an older truck, and this year is the year that it decided to have everything go wrong with it. And almost every time we've managed to, hey, let's run a couple of extra shows this week, pump out some money, and then pay for it that way instead of, going further into debt or anything like that. And
we also know about trying to get to 1,000 sales, because we're trying to do that exact same thing on the district. The district has that same, the district is another live selling platform, more of a marketplace than like a Whatnot, where a Whatnot is the platform itself. The district has a bunch of people that have platforms on it, and we're working on doing that one. What do you think is the biggest myth about live selling that new sellers believe?
I think that new live sellers could either think that it's going to be so easy that crowds are going to come, or they can be the extreme fear that I don't know what to do. I'm not an expert. I can't do those shows, so I can't do it.
Right.
I can't. How do I do stuff like that? How do I put these great shows on? How do I find the stuff? There's a lot of excuses that might keep someone who's squeamish about it and let it doing their first show. We know that everybody started with their first show. Everybody has good ones and bad ones, but having a support network, it helps out a whole lot for encouragement, I think, in this space.
Yeah, I agree.
What are the benefits of Whatnot as a sourcing platform compared to traditional sourcing like thrift stores, yard sales, wholesale pallets, things like that?
Yeah, so I like that Whatnot comes to me. I like being able to find shows that I like, or sellers that I like, and then bookmark them. And then, the notification. Why do I pop up on so many shows? Oh, there's a notification. I just allow the notifications to come up on my phone. And sometimes I'm bored and I just want to go and sit in a show for entertainment. Sometimes it's my friends. And then as my friends get to know me and know what I like to buy, they tag me. And I jumped in.
I've done it a lot.
I jumped in this morning on someone's Plus show, and because I buy puppets a lot, and they didn't even have to say ApexJeff puppets. They just said a friend of mine, and I jump in and I say, "You rang,"
Right. That is really good that it does come to right to you. That makes it a lot of easier. How do you evaluate whether an item will be profitable before you start bidding?
So let me talk about a few things that folks can do to make a show favorable for resellers and to sourcers. One of them is wholesale prices. Having wholesale prices. I'm going to go in and buy low, and it's like I just kind of think garage sale mentality. That's not demeaning anybody. It's not demeaning anybody's shows. If you see me buying in bulk on your shows, it's because I like you and I like your stuff. But the business side of me is definitely going, I want to get stuff at a wholesale price so that I can flip it for 2, 3, 5x on these other platforms.
Right.
Some whatnot shows are very reseller friendly. You know that because they will talk about it. Hey, if you guys are resellers out there, pay attention. This is a good one. I really appreciate those nods. I love Chris Flip the World Texas because he will do a comp. He takes of everything that he has, puts them in his not his buy now, but his auction. And then if it's something big, then he'll have a comp in there of a picture. And so, and sometimes he'll say in the description, look this up. And so when I would go into his shows, he would be selling women's clothes. I might buy a few of those, but I'm looking for, okay, what kind of bangers did he find? What kind of special vintage boots did he find? And then I open up the wallet and outbid everybody. If you want to have a friendly show for sourcers, you need to hold an item up and freeze a little bit. You can show the front, the back, but show the front, because what I'm doing is I got my phone, I'm watching it on my phone, and I'm taking a picture. I hit the two buttons. I hit a button down here, a button up here, and go to Google Image, and I look it up real quick. If you're too fast, then it's harder for me. I can only do it on some items or on longer auctions. But I'm not saying do 30-minute auction, 30-second auctions. I'm not saying waste time. I'm just saying hold it up and hold it still. And maybe even cue people, hey, this is a good item. I would also counsel people to not make comps up in their mind. Hey, this is worth, I don't know. I think people just pull prices out of their head and they say,
Jeff knows me well.
This is worth.
Well, you always say $3 million. So
yeah, I always outrageously overdo it and stuff, you know. But this is $3 billion.
This is worth. This is a good one. This plush is worth $40 to $50, and I'll go look it up, and I go, I don't see what you're seeing. Not even on the.
Right.
I don't have time to look up the souls. I just look at what are people listing it for, and if there's a $3 plush and it's hitting the $25, $30, $40 metric, then I'm going to be swiping. But I've got to have a little time to take that picture and look it up. I just don't know some categories well enough to know all the names. If it was men's clothes, I know men's clothes pretty well, and so someone flashes a Vineyard Vines or a vintage jacket or t-shirt that I don't need to look certain things up. But
I will say having that background knowledge can help you to source in a show easier than someone who has to look everything up. I bought fairly recently, maybe a couple months ago, a bunch of glassware from Noah Baller. And it was going way under eBay price. And I think because people were having to look up each individual piece, I happened to know that particular brand, that particular style, that I was able to just, okay, I can bid this much and snag it. And that was one of the first times I've ever gotten like an amazing deal from a big seller like that.
Yeah. One of the things that I do as a show runner is if that item has a barcode, I try to show the barcode and tell people, take a screenshot. Here it is right here. Here's the barcode and stuff. So, because I have been in shows before and I know video games somewhat where the buyer would say, this particular game is worth, $120. And unfortunately, this is before I really knew better. I went and I comped it right there on the spot. And I said, I'm sorry, but that game is only worth about $80.
Right.
And, and he got very mad at me in the show. And I'm like, look, I'm sorry. And goes, but I'm just saying, don't, what Jeff said, don't make up prices or do what I do. Okay, I'll literally hold up an item and I'll say, oh yeah, this is worth about $11 million. Obviously, it's not worth $11 million. I'm not going to try to sell it starting off at $1 or whatnot
Right.
with like 12 people in the room.
Yeah, and it's a common thing to say, "Oh, I know you're going to make so much money on that." I think that enthusiasm is fine, but it's kind of misplaced. I'm going to make the money if I sell it, and
Yeah,
I have
Exactly.
to just kind of think, "We'll see." It's a cool item, and by the way, don't buy because something's cool. That's a bad that
100%.
you know. I've got to come in with the business
unless I'm selling
mind.
it and then buy it if it's
I'm fun
cool.
and I'm having a good time. Yes. If I buy something that I think is cool, it's usually for me personally. Just because I think something's cool doesn't mean it's worth a lot, And
That's
Yeah,
that
something to
goes with
remember.
source.
Exactly. Anywhere you're sourcing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Tracy. Yeah, when you're sourcing, if it's cool to you, that's great, and there will be people that probably like it, but um, it just depends on who you're doing your shows for. If
yeah,
you're sourcing cool stuff and stuff for fashion maybe that looks good and you can put combinations together, great. If you're doing a show for resellers or that's reseller friendly, um, you have to look a few things up. And so you, I don't even know that you have to know a lot about reselling. You don't have to look everything up. It's just if you're going to spotlight some things, do just a little bit of homework for the audience there that's resellers. Let me give a couple of more tips for a reseller friendly show. When I go in and I always think about if they have a set shipping rate. I want to stay in the show long enough to get to the free shipping. Is it worth it for
right.
me to stay in this show? If it's a random pull show, I have to trust that that person's going to bring some cool stuff up. It doesn't make sense for me to go and buy one or two smaller things. If it's a big banger item, that's a different story. But if if you've got stuff that's preloaded, then I can go in there as a sourcer and look really quick and go,
Mhm.
there's 4 or 5 things here that will make the money for me. So the shipping, I don't even think about it. And then I'll jump in the chat and go, could you run this, this, and this? Yeah, and
Right.
I try to cherry pick them. When I would also say brag about your bulk buyers. Um, Give them
Mhm.
attention, stroke the egos a little bit. Uh, I mean, that's just common sense for whatnot for live selling. Is hey, good to see you. Welcome in. But if somebody starts buying multiple things, give them a little multiple attention.
Yeah.
They like that. Um, they like to hear their name said. Um,
Absolutely.
With
I
what
don't
you
know
just
that
said right there,
I don't know
um,
that I crave that and thrive that, but it
but
does. It makes me feel good.
yeah, and me and you have actually had this conversation before. One of the things as a seller, I don't ever want to undermine my resellers that are in the room. And you can hear people saying this, saying, oh, if Jeff's buying that, you should bid because it's worth a lot. And I'm like, and I've heard people say that, and me and you have actually had that conversation before, but I have never said that. And it's hard for me to not say it
Right.
because I know I will, and I say it after the item's usually sold. I said, oh, yeah, by the way, Jeff's going to send me a picture of this when it sells and how much money that he made on it.
Yeah.
But I never try to say, look, if Jeff's bidding on it, y'all should bid on it because it's worth a lot. What's your feelings on that?
Oh, I don't know. It bothers me. It is a little bit of attention. It's kind of fun, but my business mind, I want to sneak in there under the radar and snag a
Mhm.
few things. Um, I'm going to be friendly and in the chat, but when it's time to go after something, I open the wallet and go after it. And we used to be able to snipe stuff right at the end. Now Whatnot changed the auctions, didn't they? Where you just can't snipe something at the end because
Only
it'll give extended time.
Yeah, only if it's sudden death. The sudden death you can definitely snipe.
Yeah.
But there's a thing that people do is they do a custom bid. And a custom bid is great. I absolutely love a custom bids because they will save people from the people that just snipe at the very end to snag.
And it keeps you from accidentally over swiping too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Do you find that some Whatnot sellers?
So what you do is you have a swipe, and right next to it is the underprice.
No.
I mean,
you froze, and I thought you were done talking, so I started the next question. But you go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, sorry about the internet. I was just going to talk about custom bidding. There's a swipe, but then there's a button that says custom. Learn to use that, and it will help you as a sourcer to be disciplined. So I see an item, maybe I comp it real quick. Oh, this is worth $39. I want to pay X amount. I want to pay $7. I want to pay $9. Custom bid, hit $9. I wait a little bit. I wait for the auction. I'm usually not the first one to bid. I just kind of wait a little bit, and then I always custom bid in an odd number. It's funny how many people, I'll do $11, and how many people they start bidding it up and they stop at 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I went at 11. And they said, oh, I really wanted that. I was like, man, if you would have just done $11, or $12, you would have gotten it, you know? So
yeah, that's very common in buying storage units too. When you buy storage units, Tracy and I, we've been doing that for a long time. I know how to bid on that and stuff like that. And I always will bid $10 to $20 more than what my the custom bids are, because everybody tends to bid in blocks of 50, 50,
right.
100, 150, 200. So here I am bidding 210, and then I snag stuff that way.
Right, yeah, or 211. You just
well, I can't do an odd number like that. I can only do
10.
zero numbers.
Right. Yeah. But that's
do you find?
Go ahead, Tracy.
Go ahead. And I was just going ahead to the next question, but you go right on ahead.
Go ahead.
Do you find that some Whatnot sellers underprice items due to a lack of product knowledge, and how do you take advantage of that?
Yeah.
I just feel a little bad for someone that's running stuff for $1 and they're an established reseller with a small room. And I'm like, I don't quite understand the $2, and you're going to get 30 cents out of this, or
Right.
I don't quite understand that. Or you're going to give 30 of your cents to Whatnot, whatever the mix works. If you sell something for $1, how much do you make, Brian?
About 62 cents.
Right. That doesn't make any sense to me.
You have to go by also your packing materials and things like that. It's not included in that 62 cents. That's why whenever we do analytics, I never look at an item. I look at the show as a whole. And for me, yes, you bought that item for $1 and I made 62 cents on that item, but I'm hoping that you're not going to buy just one. I'm hoping you're going to buy many items at that $1, and then it just starts to multiply up and it takes down my shipping cost, and it tends to make a little bit more money. And then when you get those people in there that start buying more of those things, other bidders will come in. Jeff said something that was really unique. He said, I don't want to be the first bidder. And a lot of people are that way. They don't want to be the first bidder or the first buyer.
Yep.
Unless it's something that they really, really want. But once that ice is broken, I hardly ever sell anything off at $1. I'll start
unless it's a show where we're intending to. We're doing VHS or something, and we're just clearing some stuff out.
Yeah. So,
there's some purpose in that, but you have to think about cost of goods sold. You have to value your own time.
Yeah,
and you say, oh, I made $200. you made $200 gross. What did you
Right.
make net of expenses?
Right.
What did it cost you to buy that stuff? Maybe it didn't cost you much, or maybe that was free. Okay, that's fine.
Sort of like a storage unit. That's where we come in, where we get a bulk amount of product at
Yep.
the storage unit. And at that time, we're already into profit.
Yeah. I think other tips for resellers that are sourcing, finding shows during the daytime, finding afternoon shows, finding people who
That's
are
our next question. So
all
let me
right.
go ahead and ask this one. Okay. Yeah, this is great. Are there particular times of a day or show formats on whatnot that consistently lead to better sourcing deals?
I love finding people's first shows. If they put my first show, now it could be a disaster. They could have, high prices. It's
Mhm.
fine. They can have whatever they want, but sometimes they're just trying it out. They're just trying to get some momentum. And then
Mhm.
I find a gem in there and I end up buying a table full of stuff,
Yeah.
That's happened several times and it's
Willow said the
fun.
same thing.
Yep.
Exact same thing. Willow said the exact same thing. He said, I always look for people having their first shows because there's not a lot of people in there. I try to be encouraging and talk to the people
Yeah.
and things like that.
Let me tell you one thing I've noticed from running shows is try to be in the show when the show first starts.
Yeah.
What he said about
Yeah.
not wanting to be the first buyer, a lot of people have that. Plus, I've noticed a lot of times when we first start a show, the first people that come in, they're our friends. They're not there to buy. They're just there to support, to say, hey, things like that. So
Bust my balls.
bust your balls.
Yeah.
So those first couple of
Jeff.
items, I always count on selling for lower than they should. And I would imagine that's the same thing across the platform. So if you can be in a show right when it starts, that's when you're going to get the bargains.
No, I
think so.
agree. And let me clarify what I mean by don't be the first person to swipe. If someone's selling something for $1 and someone's pity buying or just buying all the $1 stuff, I just want to wait and see. Does somebody swipe $1? Because then it only cost me $2. If I swipe and I'm the $1 and then someone swipes on me and they're the $2 and then my third swipe is $3 or more. It sounds so stupid maybe to say that, but you wait and see what the interest is and come midway, or have your custom bid ready and just wait and see if it goes up. I sometimes I've done a custom bid of $19, $21, and then I get the item for $4. But
Right.
so it's only that. It's only it's only so I can snipe some things at $2 instead of $3.
There's your sniper, folks, right there.
That's it.
Hold on. Let me make him big. Let me make him big right here. Okay. Let me see if I can do this.
Ooh.
Oh, I did it. No, I did that. I didn't want to do that. How do I do that? Right here.
I don't know what you're
There we
doing.
go. There he is, guys.
Oh.
There is the sniper right there. The sniper is right there. Okay. On thing right there. And he's freezing. There you go. Thrift store legend right there.
Yeah.
Or as I like to say it right here. Let me go ahead and do this. Yeah. Scumbag.
Oh, come on.
There you go. Right there.
This is the battle of the t-shirts then.
There you go. Puppet Master.
Puppet Master.
I remember that shirt. Let me see. Where am I supposed to go here now? This one?
There you go.
Okay, that'll work. All right.
Well, you talked about this a little bit already, but do you prefer to buy from large sellers or smaller unknown sellers? And what are the pros and cons of each?
I think that generally small to mid-sized sellers that have consistent shows, maybe they're on the up and coming. There's a couple of large sellers now on Whatnot that I got in pretty early, just supporting them, getting in their chat, buying items, getting great deals. And then when they became big, it kind of priced me out of it. So I would say that Harry Tornado shows early on, I got a lot of great deals in there, and I mean, I love them, but
Mhm.
Right.
I just stopped getting notifications on their shows. I'll go in occasionally just for fun to see what they're doing, but yeah, it's hard when a room's got 200-300 in there, and they're devoted buyers,
Absolutely.
and that's it. Just it's not that they don't have good stuff for me personally, but that it's not a good place to spend my time looking for wholesale deals.
Right. 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 How do you handle surprises, like an item arriving in worse condition than you expected?
It doesn't happen very much. I If it does, I would message the buyer and just say,
Okay.
hey, by the way, this piece of glass, this vase had a chip in it, and I don't know that that was called out on the show. So, could you double check on that? Could you refund me? It doesn't happen
Right.
too often.
Yeah, that is one of the benefits of live selling is we try to show it we can. And one of the things that, and I got to mention this part, Jeff bought a very, very, very expensive watch from us. And
Yeah.
we had the watch looked at a jeweler, and the jeweler said that it was authentic, but we didn't have a certificate of authenticity. This was what was it? A
Gucci.
It was a Gucci watch. And I was so happy when Jeff told me, he says, I had it authenticized and it is real. And that
Yeah.
made me feel a lot better because, when you're selling stuff, you don't want to, as a seller, I don't ever want to have an item from that I sold to a reseller, i.e. Jeff, and then that item is not what he expected. He spent about $120 on that watch.
170, I think.
$170 on that watch. And if that watch would have turned out to be fake, just not going to come back and buy any more anything from me. Even though I said in the show, we did have this looked at, but I don't have a certificate of authenticity. I try to do my very, very best, but still, as a seller, I don't want to burn a bridge.
I'm going to go completely off tangent here. It's something that Brian didn't write down, but it's something that just came to me because I got a message from Whatnot about it yesterday. They have officially partnered with Real Authentication, which is the site I have used for authenticating in the past. They're officially a partner. If you are unlocked to sell luxury bags on Whatnot, you can get a huge discount on it now. It's like 75% off or something, which I am allowed to sell luxury bags, even though we've only sold one ever. But I would.
We had two.
We did.
We had two.
The other one was fake.
Using that, one of them was real. That was the Louis Vuitton, and we had a Hermes bag, and that Hermes bag was worth about $2,000.
Yeah,
but that program that Tracy's talking about said it was fake, and we posted a nice little video of us throwing it away into the land heap.
But what I was going to say is I would go ahead and get permission to sell luxury bags if you can convince them to approve you. For me, I just had to send a picture of, hey, I got some bags. That's all they wanted. But if you are a seller on there, because then you can use that discount code, you can use it for stuff you're selling anywhere. I mean, it's not tied to your Whatnot account. They just give you a code. You can use the discount. So definitely.
And tell them Jack's Treasure sent you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say something about COAs. COA is a piece of paper. Anybody could print a piece of paper. Anybody could nicely print a piece of paper, even a sports card shop or a memorabilia shop. We're not talking, it's got a COA. It doesn't mean anything to me. I have to independently get that authenticated from one of the services. And that's going to be Beckett, JSA, Real Authentication, the Star Wars Autograph Universe, SWAU, does not just Star Wars autographs, but all entertainment and all celebrities.
That's good to know.
You can do a $10 digital look. You take a picture, you send it to Star Wars Autograph Universe. you click, okay, this is an entertainment. This is a Muhammad Ali autograph.
Mhm.
You pay the $10, and within 24 hours, you get a likely authentic or a likely not authentic. That is an expert who's looked at a picture, but that helps me to know if I want to buy something or not. Now, obviously, I
Right.
can't do that on Whatnot, but if I'm picking something up at a garage sale, I had a Mike Tyson 8x10 picture signed.
Mhm.
You could tell that it was signed with a real pen, looked interesting. And I sent it to one of those eyeball services, and it said likely not authentic. And then I went online and looked
Ooh.
at authentic ones, and I go, ooh, yeah, I wish that I had done a little my research on my own. So you can do some of your research, but you're not an autograph expert.
Right.
Right.
You need some expert eyeballs on something that you're going to represent as authentic. It doesn't matter if the guy at the flea market that you trust says it's good or not. I trust Brian and Tracy that they did some due diligence, that they went to a good jeweler, the watch battery replaced. That spoke to me because I don't have to do that.
Right.
And I trust them as people, but I still have to do my due diligence, especially to put it on eBay, or I'm
Yeah,
going to get
definitely.
a counterfeit strike.
Kind of change the subject here. How quickly do you typically list items on eBay after you receive them from Whatnot? And does speed impact your success?
I make piles in my resale room, which is where I'm at. So
Uh-huh.
I get the boxes. Marcia doesn't want the boxes in the hallway, so I throw them upstairs, and I'll the clothing I'll put on a pile. The plush I put in and then I just dedicate some time. My goal is within 7 days, so
Okay.
I want
Okay.
to process. And honestly, if I have not processed what I have, I need to not be buying more. And so what I've started doing lately is if I get busy or I'm taking a trip and my pile is stacking up, I will actually uninstall the Whatnot app temporarily, so that
Mhm.
if I go on the Whatnot app, I'm enticed to go buy stuff and hang in my friends' stores, and I care about
Right.
them and find good deals. But as part of my discipline, I have to go, I need to process this stuff and put it away before I go buy more.
Repo.
So that's
Yeah.
something that I've been able to do recently. Now I'm able to process a lot more now. I use a service called Better Lister, and
Okay.
it's an AI service that Tech and Sports designed with his team. It's a premium service, but I send in pictures to that service. It's $50 a month, which is a lot of money, but
Mhm.
I can do uh, I can I can do 100 listings with that, and all I need to do is send in pictures, and it's going to give me a perfect title, perfect item specifics, um, a researched price with comps where I can check the comps on it.
Mhm.
Um, and darn if it hasn't helped me process stuff a lot. Now there's a lot of
Yeah.
AI listers out there, so List Easier. A lot of people are
That's
gravitating
the one
toward that.
we're using.
Yeah,
And
that's the
Yeah,
one we just had Scott on to talk about that one.
yeah.
yeah.
And we're loving List Easier. It's completely changing our business.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
I
show.
love the
I don't
AI
have my
listers for
phone.
sure.
I'll send you a picture that I took of Tracy yesterday. That literally the only reason why we bought this was because of List Easier.
Yeah.
And thank you, Scott.
Yes, thank you, Scott. Now we have 300 packs of Valentine's cards in October.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me talk about some basic expenses that I pay monthly. I pay for the listing service. I pay
Mhm.
for Vendu, the cross lister,
Right.
and I cross list to about 5 platforms. So I
Okay.
started on eBay, and then I cross list to 3, 4, 5 other platforms depending on the item.
Mhm.
I've upgraded those to the premium. now just because I'm using it, but I've started out with the basic, the basic package on these, and I wanted to test and see, does it work? Does it work for me? If I'm putting out $30 a month, am I going
Jeff, I don't mean to cut you off, but right now you're frozen. I'm going to remove you from the studio.
Yeah.
Bring you back.
And I'm going to bring you back. Okay. All right. Is he back?
No.
Oh man.
I mean, it is, but his videos.
I can hear him, but I can't. We couldn't see you on that one.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Stage. Yeah, we're there. We're not frozen on your side, are we?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Well,
what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove you completely. Okay. Go ahead and exit the studio, Jeff, and then try to come back in. There we go. Guys, we were just he just completely froze up on there. We all heard what he was saying, but his video was frozen. So we're trying to fix that real fast. Hopefully that one worked right there. I think it did. Let's see.
Yes, there we go. We can see you again.
Oh, awesome. Because
I just did refreshing on my end.
You doing this. That was what you were doing, was that. Yeah. So I just wanted to change that. So now you can go ahead.
Oh, if you're going to invest in your monthly reselling, I don't know, start with an AI lister, get a basic package, watch to see how quickly you recoup that money. If you want to bridge over into cross listing, then pay the fees for that, get the basic package and use it and see, okay, does $30 turn into $100? Are my sales going up?
Right.
If you want to get coaching, like jumping into Tech and Sports or Reseller Greatness or Chris Lynn's Reseller Network, see if that gives you the knowledge that helps you make more sales and pick better things.
Right.
I don't like the idea of spending $200 or $300 a month on tools, but I mean, QuickBooks Online. I do QuickBooks Online for my taxes. I have to have that, but I've just found all of those things have helped me grow as a reseller more than they cost me.
Right.
Yeah, there is, when we were talking to, or not when we were talking to, but when when Joe Hollywood was talking at the Whatnot meetup that happened 2 weeks ago in Atlanta, he was saying that you should have a budget for marketing your business and everything that Jeff was talking about with Vendu and the List Easier or the List Better or Better Lister. Those are all marketing tools to help you to grow your business. And he was talking about, of course, doing sponsorships inside of shows and, buying things like that. But, same exact concept.
We have never used a cross lister. It is actually on our list. I have a certain goal that I want to get my eBay store back up to, and then I'm going to invest in a cross lister and see if it's worth our time and worth the money. I don't know.
Yeah, well, she did List Easier without telling me at all. Okay. And then we had Scott on, and I was in one of his videos and he was talking about it. And then I said to her, hey, we should check out this List Easier thing that might help out. And I am anti-AI. Okay. I totally admit it that I am anti-AI because I was a teacher. And as a teacher, I wanted people to listen to me, not to listen to something that's looking for something, that a computer can come up with in like seconds. So, but I go ahead and I say that to her and she goes, oh yeah, I've been using it for about a week.
Well, I kind of wanted to experiment and see how it worked and then broach the subject with them, and it was working great already. I mean, I had already sold enough to pay for the first month of stuff that I never would have listed otherwise.
But if you're a younger reseller, then don't spend $200 in services if you're only making $250 a month.
100%.
Yeah.
Just go slow with it. Do it manually yourself. Figure it out. Watch videos on how to do that. And then as you grow, I used to cringe at having to buy shipping supplies and poly bags and, oh, I got to buy bubble wrap. Do I really need to?
Yeah.
You need these things for your business. And at some point, it'll become a comfortable, regular part because you know that if I've got fitted boxes for video games, then it's going to improve my sales.
Exactly. We are actually going to be having a guest that is going to be talking strictly about shipping.
Yep.
It's going to be amazing. Cool. Okay. Jeff, this is our last question. What is the biggest win and the biggest fail you have had by not don't do that. Oh my gosh, you're doing it again. And what did you learn from them?
The biggest win as far as sale and biggest blunder.
Yeah. If you don't mind sharing.
Yeah.
My blunders are when I buy too much at once and then I get overwhelmed. I found a guy that sold wholesale workwear, jackets, bib overalls, Carhartt stuff, but also other brands. I knew that there was money in that, but I had not really tested the market on that to know. And I bought 40 or 50 of them from him. I bought them at really good prices, but it really bogged down my house and my system. And it's for several weeks, just the boxes were stacked in here, 20 whatnot boxes that I'm excited about it first, but then I look at them later and go, I'm not excited about this. And
that is probably the biggest statement. I got to stop them. That's the biggest statement you could ever make about resellers. Resellers love the hunt, love that buy and just super excited about it. And then realize, well, shit, I got to list that.
Yeah.
Damn, I got to pack that. I don't want to pack that. I don't want to ship that. I will let you know the biggest person who says this a lot, and the thing will sit on the shelf for a while, and then finally she gets to the point where she goes, well, I'm just not going to sell it, so let's give it to Goodwill. Oh, let's run it on Whatnot for $1. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah. So what you just said there was awesome.
It's always stuff that he
now those are paying me money. They're paying me money now, but I had to take basically about 2 weeks and force myself to go downstairs, clear the kitchen out, because workwear coveralls are real big. I can't do them on my normal places. And I had to stand on a step ladder and photograph them. And then I had to get down with the ruler, and it was so much work. I had to point out flaws and bag them. And then I wrote all the flaws on the bag, and it was nauseating. And I'm glad that they're moving now and they're selling, but I just have to be careful with bulk buying. So
what would be your best?
My best one was my best find was a garage sale find where a guy was selling two
Whatnot.
Oh, Whatnot. Oh, okay. Sorry. So the Whatnot seller 60.
Yeah.
His name's Levi, and his wife is Laura, and they're full time, and they go to the bins all the time, the Goodwill bins, and just spend all day there and source and bring home stuff. And he'll bring home brands that he knows, and then there's just cool stuff in there, and then there's banger stuff. And so he's had several band t-shirts, vintage Nike stuff. It's usually shirts for me that are over $100, and he's picked them from the bins for pennies, and then nobody's buying, and I ended up buying them for $4 or $5, and I make over $100. anyone where I can buy for $5 and sell for over 100, that's a winner. And Levi has picked such good stuff with his wife that I've had about 4 purchases from him that have turned into $100 bills.
I'm going to go ahead and decide that I'm going to put a link down below to Levi so that Jeff can't get these huge, great deals.
No.
Okay. We need to get some people getting in there and get these $100 shirts from Levi.
He's also on our list of people that we want to have here on the podcast. It just hasn't rolled around yet, but you'll definitely be seeing him here one day.
Well, thanks for those amazing answers, Jeff. That was phenomenal. That was great. We're going to do our What's Up section right now. And guys, this goes along the lines of what we were talking about with Jeff. And I think I'm already going to know the answer to his question. But guys, if you don't know, there are a lot of different live selling platforms. Okay. There's Whatnot, of course, and that's our biggest one right now that we're doing. Poshmark Live is another one that is on the up and up, man. People are going in there and they're finding some great deals. That's another great place where you can source. And some of these
TikTok
places like that
as well. TikTok Lives.
Yep. eBay Live, guys. eBay Live is starting to ramp up a little bit. My friend Jeremy over at Green 13 has started doing some shows over there. And everything with live selling, it all goes on consistency. Jamble, we don't know the life expectancy of Jamble. It might be on life support right now, but it is another one. And then, of course, we mentioned earlier all of the district platforms that are over there. You have Shop Commons, you have Dib the Bits, and you have First Class Treasures, The Golf Guy, Crazy Lamp Lady's got Knickknacks. So there's a lot of different ones. Oh, also YouTube Live. A lot of people are selling there too. So there are a lot of different ones.
And there are also a lot of little niche sites. I know there's one for plants. There's one for handmade and stuff where it's just a site for selling that one specific niche.
And usually live.
Live, yeah.
So there are a lot of these that seem to be popping up and coming up all over the place. Larger static sellers sites are even doing it too. I would not be surprised to start seeing Amazon pulling off something like this too, to try to include a live element segment. If you had to choose only one of those platforms, Jeff, to do your sourcing from, which one would you go to?
Well, I'm in YouTube most of the time because I'm watching videos for fun and education and just as background. So if they had a vibrant live reselling committee, I'd probably be over there. Community, I meant.
Yeah.
I've been to district a little bit. I've seen live selling on Amazon, and I just don't really go to a lot of other live selling platforms, but I'm in YouTube a lot just for my day-to-day background.
Right.
There you go, right there. All right.
It's time for our Shine the Light segment where we focus the light on 3 different sellers at 3 different levels.
The light, huh?
I don't know.
We spot
words.
I literally took it off of the thing because we've had it on there. This is our 34th episode, by the way, babe.
Hush.
We shine the light on 3 sellers at different levels. All right, our first seller is somebody that we met at the Whatnot meetup. That was a couple weeks ago. His name is Slavko. He goes by Mini, M-I-N-I. 404. He's a Whatnot reseller, and he has 108 sales with 280 followers. So he's our new seller. He sells comics, collectibles, cards, and retro games. He's a seller that we met at the Whatnot meetup. As somebody who sources on Whatnot, what do you think about sellers selling stuff, starting stuff off at $1? Do you think new sellers should start stuff off at $1, or should they start off more?
I think they should try whatever they want to try. Just try stuff, but look at your numbers, look at your metrics. One show is not enough to be able to see if something's successful, but are you making money for yourself, for your family, for your business? If not, why not? And just adjust things.
As someone who sells a vast majority of our stuff at dollar starts, I highly recommend a brand new buyer or brand new seller does not start their first show at a dollar start. You need to understand the platform, understand your business, and understand what you can afford to sell things at before you really dip your toes in that dollar start. But at the same time, trying to start things at eBay prices is going to be a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Our next seller is our growing seller. This is Linda. Her name is Lemonade Tribe on Whatnot. She has 5.2 thousand sales and 7.8 thousand followers. We've done many trains with Linda before.
Oh, yeah.
She's an everything seller who wants people to enjoy her shows and always leave with a smile. She's funny and lives by the motto, life is too short, eat the cake and take the trip. Our question is, do you think some sellers would be upset if they knew someone was buying from them to resell on another platform?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Some people take that personally, but that's okay. It's just going to be a reality. The reality is that you bought it from someplace as a reseller to resell it on your platform. But I don't know why would you be offended if you're making your money and someone else is making their money. And if you're satisfied and happy with that, then it's out of your hands anyway, what happens next to it.
Yeah, I guess I always think of the analogy of playing poker. The analogy of it's leaving money on the table. And people will say, oh, well, you could have won. Oh, you could have done that. Oh, you could have done that. And I said, yeah, I could have also lost, but that's the analogy they make. I don't have a problem with it. I love it.
It comes down to reading the room. And I find this a lot with yard sales. Sometimes we tell people, hey, we're resellers if we think it's going to benefit us or not hurt us. But sometimes, I'm at an estate sale with, some sweet old ladies selling their stuff. I'd rather them just think that I actually want all of those Monster High dolls because I'm some sort of collector, and just let them leave with that.
Grandchildren.
Let them leave with that happy feeling rather than, cut them down. So it's a matter of just reading the room.
People will say, I'm glad it's going to a good home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I care about it to buy it, and I'm personally interested in it, but yeah, I'm going to help it find homes, multiple homes.
Right.
Our established seller is Ashley and Jacob Cooper. This is the House of Coop. They are on Whatnot Sellers with 35,000 sales. Oh my God, they're crushing us there. And 42,000 followers. They are everything sellers who have awesome shows. And guess what? They are playing host to the next Whatnot meetup in Tampa, Florida, at the Tampa, Florida area.
Ooh.
House of Coop. They are some amazing people. The very quick question on this one: do you think larger established sellers on Whatnot source on Whatnot?
I would say sign me up for their coaching. I want to be coached by them. I'll pay for that service.
Yeah, they are really, really good.
I think that a lot of them do.
Yeah.
I think larger resellers have a constant, sustainable place to buy inventory. As I've seen the level up people, you guys have leveled up, and then your flow comes from storage units. Are they buying on Whatnot for sourcing? Sure, a little bit, but they're gonna have streams where they can get consistent product, whether that's the flea market going every week to the same vendor who continues to bring more. At some point, you just can't go to the garage sales and the thrift stores and have consistent inventory.
Correct. Especially in certain areas, because I know that's drying up north area.
We will post links down below to all of these awesome sellers. Go give them a follow on Whatnot. Follows are free, and I'm sure they would appreciate seeing you all in their shows.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time to turn the tables. This is where we allow Jeff to ask us any question he would like on Whatnot, on reselling, on our personal lives, anything you want to know about Jack's Treasures.
You bet. My question relates to foods. It could be comfort food, but more specifically, when you guys are traveling on the road, going to get your storage units, you're going to go to a lot of different restaurants, try some local places out. There's probably dishes that you go, I like this dish. If they make this dish well, this is a good restaurant. Mm-hmm. Are there any food items that when you go to restaurants, that you go, man, I'm going to try this item at every restaurant, and it's going to be kind of a determination for me. It could be a drink also, but that there's some determination that this is a good restaurant. For me, it's chicken fried steak. If they can do a chicken fried steak well, or a queso well, that's a good restaurant.
You want to answer this one first?
I'll go first. For me, my go-to, if I don't see something that just boggles my mind at a restaurant, is the chicken fingers. I'm a child, but I get chicken fingers and I get buffalo sauce, so I can try their buffalo sauce at the same time.
Good.
And if you have an awesome sauce and good quality fingers, you're thumbs up in my book.
For me, it's actually a comfort food. Okay. But for me, the first thing that I always will judge a place on is their pretzel bites. Okay.
Oh,
I love pretzel bites with their cheese, whether it's a beer cheese, whether it's a queso cheese, no matter what kind of cheese it is. I really want to test that one out. I want to know if they're homemade or if they're like frozen or whatever. I can tell you right now, I have never been to a concert and had a good pretzel.
Yeah, no.
The lady will tell me, says, "Oh, these are really, really good." And then you bite into them, and then it's like, this is like straight cardboard, ma'am. This is like, you just took it out of the frozen package, put it up on the little thing right there, and it was there for 2 minutes and stuff. So mine is definitely pretzel bites and in comfort food like that. We do a lot of traveling, so we do that. Tracy Googles the restaurants. We always try to go to someplace new. In any area that we go to, no matter where that area is, we want to try out something that we can't try out here. Like, I'm not going to go to Texas Roadhouse specifically unless there's nothing there, because we have one here. Right. So, but yeah, great question. Obviously, we eat a lot too. Jeff's calling us fat. Or me fat. Thanks to our amazing guest, by the way. Jeff, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you so much, man. You really, really don't know. Our next guest that we're going to be having next week is going to be one of 3 people. Okay. Because this one was I actually messed up our whole intro. This one was supposed to be Jenny Down South, but Jenny Down South had something come up, so she couldn't make the recording time. And so we're
still trying to fit her in at some point.
Right. And also D Middleman is another one that we're going to be having on definitely in November, because he's going to be talking about shipping. And then another person that we just met at the Whatnot meetup, his name is Bernard. And Bernard, I'm going to tell you all something. This guy is going to be huge on Whatnot. He's right now what we would call a growing seller, but he sells fishing equipment. He's known as the Big Fishing Family, and he is a newer seller on Whatnot, and he does have a great story to tell. We're hoping, I already know that he will come on. With Jenny, we got to get the schedule down pat, and D Middleman, the same thing with the schedule down pat because of his schedule.
But yeah, so one of those 3, hopefully, or some random person that we pull in off the side of the street. Yeah,
because we just go onto the street right here, and we just pull people off the street. That Jeff really feels good right now, by the way.
I didn't pull him off the street. He's been on our list since the beginning.
Oh yeah,
we do. We have a very long list of people that we eventually want to get in here one day. So it's fun.
Mm-hmm. We love each other, and we have a good history. And I've told you guys are my 5th favorite resellers. So appreciate you a lot.
I appreciate that.
Only because I gave Jeff a peck on the cheek.
We're actually hoping to get to see Jeff again soon. We would love to go back to the McKays in North Carolina. It's just finding time. We're all over the place. And unfortunately, a lot of that time is in Tennessee just because that's what fits in our lifestyle best. But we're going to get out there eventually. One last question for Jeff before we let him go. What does the future hold for ApexJeff?
Yeah.
So I like that whatever I do in reselling is mobile, meaning I can take this skill anywhere. So eventually we're going to sell this house and move to a different area and closer to family. And I've already made money. I've already made my money in my reseller shed. So I could, if I needed to, liquidate all that, not feel sad about it, and then move somewhere else in a different space and start over and only bring a little bit with me. What a great, great thing that is. So
Yes.
I'm so grateful to the Lord and to my friends and to those who've invested in me indirectly or directly to help me cultivate these skills that are giving us fun money, but also providing for paying our bills and, paying for trips and stuff.
Right.
Well, thank you again for coming, and thanks to everybody for watching. Help us out
And
with
getting us up to 1,000
Yes.
subscribers. Thank you, everybody.
Help us out with Stop Soldier Suicide and the Naughty Cat Cafe. Both those links are posted down below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and drop us a comment. Drop a cheese in the chat.
Drop a what?
A cheese.
A cheese.
Cheese.
Okay, now whenever I say that, you yell at me. And now you're going to go ahead.
I'm not in a yelling mood today.
Okay. Jeff, thank you again for being here. Peace out, everybody, from Jack's Treasures. Come check us out. Links down below. There'll be links down to Jeff's site, so you can check him out too. I'll see if I can get him to send me his eBay store. And that way do you have a link? Do you have linked up?
Linked what?
A link tree or
a link tree?
like that?
Oh, I'm not that sophisticated yet. No.
Okay. Well, we'll get your links down below.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you all.
Bye.
Peace out from Jack's Treasures.